Very much. It is an honor to be here with my friend Eric Malello, who's our deputy for Northern Ontario. Today, by firing or moving most of his cabinet, Justin Trudeau has admitted that after 8 years of inflationary spending that has exploded the cost of living, 8 years of carbon taxes that drive up your gas, heat, and groceries, 8 years of catch and release policies that make our streets dangerous, and 8 years of doubling the cost of housing, his government is a failure. It's funny though. The one minister who is responsible for these failures didn't get moved, and that minister is Justin Trudeau. After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, everything costs more. He's doubled our national debt, printed money, and caused the worst inflation in a generation. That has meant a major real pay cut for Canadians. Seniors are choosing between eating and heating. 1.5 million Canadians are going to a food bank, and 1 in 5 are skipping meals outright because they can't afford the price of food. After 8 years of Trudeau, his carbon tax is rising. At 14 cents a litre, it already makes gas, heat, and groceries more expensive and kills jobs. Now, he wants to quadruple it to 61 cents a litre, which will mean many people will have to turn off the heat in the wintertime in towns like Timmins, where it gets cold and they have no choice but to heat their homes. Some people will go hungry, because when you tax the fuel of the farmer who makes the food and the trucker who ships the food, you tax the food itself. These costs are falling on the backs of the working poor and our seniors who can't afford to pay. And after 8 years, hard work no longer pays. You make it, and Trudeau takes it, with higher taxes that punish hard work. After 8 years of Trudeau, housing costs have doubled. The rent has doubled. Needed down payments have doubled. Monthly mortgage payments have doubled. After Trudeau promised rates would stay low, he said, "Don't worry, borrow up a storm. It's free." And then his massive deficits caused an inflationary spiral that forced the Bank of Canada to raise interest rates to 20 times higher than they were just 18 months ago, the fastest and most violent increase in interest rates in the history of the Bank of Canada have happened since Trudeau promised low rates. Today, I met a Timmins woman who was in tears because she believed Justin Trudeau when he said that she could take out a small business loan for her family company. She believed the rates would be low, that the Prime Minister would not lie to her about that. And suddenly an uppercut. Rates shot up, and she lost everything. Canadians across the country, after 8 years of Trudeau, are hanging on by their fingernails, just trying to survive and make those deadly payments on their outrageously high debt levels. That's 8 years of Trudeau that has led many to despair in 10 cities. This is a new problem in Canada. We didn't have 10 cities 8 years ago, at least not in very many places. Now every town, every major city has a place where people now live in tents, where crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder is worse than ever. And that disorder is made worse by Trudeau's catch and release policies that allow repeat violent offenders, some of them guilty of hundreds of crimes, to go back on the streets within hours of being arrested. And this morning I met with a small business owner who had his sports shop burglarized for the 4th time in 2 years. And a little girl here in Timmins stepped on and was stabbed by a dirty narcotics needle in a school playground. It wasn't like this in Timmins. In fact, it wasn't like this in Eric's hometown of Kenora, where he used to leave the door unlocked 8 years ago. But now, many are scared just to walk in their streets. You know, it's funny. Justin Trudeau has fired a lot of ministers today, admitted his government is broken. But the ones he didn't fire the Minister of Inflation, Chrystia Freeland, who weeks after saying government deficits drive inflation, decided to introduce $60 billion more in government deficits. He didn't fire the Minister of the Carbon Tax, Stefan Guilbeault, who wants to hit people with another 61 cents a litre. And he did not fire the one minister who is most responsible, the one minister who has presided over the record increase in costs, the doubling of housing prices, the growing crime and chaos in our street, the doubling of housing costs that nobody can afford a place to live. That minister is the Prime Minister, and he needs to be fired and replaced with a new, common sense, conservative Prime Minister. And that Prime Minister will be me. And I will be honored to serve the people of Canada. And we will build this country up. We will have a government that works for the people who work. We'll bring home lower prices by axing the carbon tax to lower gas, heat, and grocery bills. We'll cap spending and cut waste to balance the budget in order to bring down inflation and interest rates. We'll bring home powerful paychecks with lower income taxes that reward hard work, and by removing government gatekeepers so that our brilliant immigrants can take a test and prove they're qualified to get to work as doctors, nurses, and other high-paid professionals. We'll remove the gatekeepers to bring home mining and resource jobs back to this country so that our people and not foreign dictators get the benefits. We'll bring homes people can afford by incentivizing municipalities to free up land, speed up and lower the cost of building permits. We'll require cities boost building permits by 15% per year. We'll require every federally funded transit station be pre-approved for high-density housing around and even on top so youth and seniors can live right next to the bus or train. We'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings and thousands of acres of unused federal land to build. We'll support our tradespeople to get more of those builders building again. We'll ensure that newcomers to Canada can get jobs building homes as well. We're going to bring homes that people can afford again in neighborhoods where they feel safe. We will end Trudeau's catch and release and bring jail, not bail. Jail, not bail for repeat violent offenders. Instead of harassing licensed law-abiding, trained and tested firearms owners, we're going to go after the real violent criminals, putting them in jail and putting the money into reinforcing our border to keep the guns and the drugs from coming illegally into our country. We'll stop giving out tax-funded drugs and we'll start giving treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free. That's the hopeful future we have. We're going to transform the hurt that Trudeau has caused into the hope that Canadians need, based on the common sense of the common people united for our common home. Your home, my home, our home. Let's bring it home.